Howdy. So we are back live again. We have been working on the Stitchin' Hedgie. This is a drawstring bag, and we are getting there. We are almost done with this. So I am going to be stitching this today till we're completely done. And we're also going to be putting in a lining. So I see a couple of you popping back in. I know our last live stream conked out, so this is a whole new live. So hopefully you guys pop over here. But yeah, I know a lot of people were stitching this and working on it. Okay, Rebecca says she got here. Great. All right, and good. So you guys are popping back in. Phone died. It was using more than what it was getting sucked in. All right, so here we are. We left off. I just put the black on this little bee, and then we are going to do the thing. So I'm using John's phone now, which is fully charged and plugged in. So hopefully a fully charged phone won't suck down quite as fast. All right, so I am gonna flip you guys around. Darlene's here again. Great. All right, and we're back. Yep, Christine, nice to see you again. All right, let's flip around. I'm gonna just start back in here right away. Thanks again, you guys, for bearing with me here. All right. Again, here's that sewing machine. I'm so excited about this. We'll have to break that down and figure it out, but here we are, back at it. Thank you guys again for finding me here. Okay. Helen, you're back. Awesome. Okay, so we left off by this little bee. I got my thread already, and then we got conked out. So good. I'm glad we're able to go back. So now I know that my other phone can do an hour and not much over. All right. So let's see. I'm waving in the end here. It stays charging. Hold on a sec. Sorry, you guys. There we go. All right. I have a computer that is charging the phone. But if it falls asleep, it stops charging. All right, weaving in the ends. Okay, so we just need to go around his little body here. Then we'll be done. Yep, thanks for coming back, Barbara. Good, I'm happy you guys found me again. I'm going directly through YouTube today instead of that other program that's not focusing right, and YouTube sucks battery a whole lot more. Pamela's back, Kathleen's back, yay. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for finding me here. Sally's back, good. I'm just starting back up, so all I've done is these like 5 little stitches here. Lenora's back, yay. Good, 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 good. Little bitty bee. All right, one more, well, come on, there we go. After this, one more stitch, and then we will focus on these French knots, working our way back down. And we're getting there. We have the banner at the bottom to do, and then the little hedgie, cute, the little hedgie eyes and his little toes. And again, I think I'll probably need another piece of yellow by the time I'm done here. And I am kind of doing the stabbing method for this. I'm not going up in the next knot right away, so I'll have to be careful that I'm not accidentally grabbing the, anything on the back, like going through, a loop, which I've done another time when I've stitched this bag. I was working on it, and then I caught one of the loops of the backpack, and I'm like, oh man, all those stitches I just did have been caught by that. So I am kind of paying extra attention, like feeling on the back with my finger to know that I didn't catch anything that I shouldn't have. And I am making pretty big leaps here between these. But again, we'll have the lining, so I think we'll be okay. So I think we'll be here for another good hour at least. We'll finish the embroidery, and then we'll be sewing the bag. Yay, Pamela found her way back to you. Good. Sorry about that, guys. All right, I think I'm gonna rotate this a little bit and get my hand in here. Well, 5 more. I think there's more at the bottom, but we gotta move the hoop again. So maybe when I have to change threads here soon, we'll move the hoop down at the same point. It's easier to move the hoop when I don't have a thread and a needle on the top. Oh, that's a great idea. Randy says that I have several quilt blocks that may have just found a home as the lining for the hedgie bag. That's a clever idea. I like that. Yeah, a lot of times when you're working on a quilt or something, or if you decide to stop a quilt, stop a project, you'll have like extra blocks around, and it's always like, what do I do with these extra blocks? That's a great idea. I love that. I do, when I was cleaning up my office, I did find several blocks that I had made when my Serengeti Beasties fabric collection came out. I had made a few just solo blocks to hang up in my trade show booth, and they're just hanging out now, and I'm like, I should use those for something. Those would be fun. Those would be fun bags. Or fun little quilt or mini quilt or something. I'll have to pull those out again. All right, I think I have just enough thread for this. This is great. So we'll weave in this thread, then we'll move down here. That didn't take that long. That really added a lot, those little French knots there. I think that added just a lot of texture, and a little speck of color really helped there, I think. All right. Weave in these little ends, and we will move down. So that's it for the top, though. The top area, we just have some bottom area bits to finish. Okay. Lay it flat again. Let's see how it's looking. Cute. I still like that we didn't finish this heart as if the hedgehog isn't quite done with the heart either. I thought that was cute. Someone did that over in the penguin and fish group, and so cute. All right, so we have, oh gosh, I only had 2 little freaking French knots there yet, and I was out of thread, so luckily I have 1 more here. So we'll take care of those real quick. But then we have the banner here. So let's see. Let's just peek at the colors for that. Okay, so we have the blue outside and the pink inside. So I'll probably do the blue first, because that will give us a lot of stitches that we can weave in the backs of when we do the text. So we'll probably do that first. Oh, Christy, you're so far behind. It is fine. If you got the pattern, then you'll be able to keep going on it. So that's just a reminder, you guys, this is only going to be available, like this bag and the pattern is only going to be available for a couple more days here. It's just till the end of June, which I still think is crazy that we're in that midsummer time already. Oh, too much chatting, not enough stitching. Oh, funny. Yep, that can happen. That's why I'm not getting more done in an hour in the evenings. I'm yammering the whole time instead of working. And I talk with my hands, so hands gotta stop stitching so I can talk. All right, we're gonna just get those two silly French knots that we have left. And yep, then we'll start in on the blue here. I think we have some blue already split into 3 strands, so that'll be helpful. Okay, I'm gonna weave in the ends. It's a little tougher when you're all the way down here. You gotta move that bag out of the way. Where's the, right there, okay. Let's go here. Uh-oh. I don't think I got one of the ends in there. Ah, I'm stuck now. All right, I'm gonna have to cut this, you guys. I only had 2 of the threads through. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, something's up here. I only have 2 of the threads through, but there we go. I only had 2 of the threads on the needle, so when I doubled back, it freaked out. So let's just pull this loose one out. There we go, and put it back together. I'm gonna pull it up a hair. All right. Thwarted disaster. There we go. All right, let's try that again. Okay, 1. Oh, that's a bummer, Kathy. Lost your floss and lost some time. All right, snip. All right, there we are. We're ready for these knots now. 2 baby knots. And then we'll just weave in the end again. Maybe I will try coming up at the next knot right away. Although, not sure if that's a great idea, but let's give it a go. All right, that worked. Okay, done. That's it for the yellow too. That's it for most of the colors, really, actually. We just have, oh, we have 3 left. We have black, pink, and blue to use. But no more yellow. So with all these scraps, I've been making those pom-poms. I've been just like wrapping it around the pom-pom maker. So that's probably what I'll do with all the scraps from here. Okay, moving on. So I was gonna do the blue outline of this. So I think I do still have some blue hanging out on the side here. All right, here's a little bit. It's not long, but it's already pre-cut, so that's good. Or pre-sectioned off. All right, I think I'm gonna just weave in the end here, just because it looks like maybe the closest piece to this. Or maybe I'll do here. I'm gonna weave in the end here and then just jump over to this corner. I think that will be like not too visible, so we're gonna do that. So into this same spot that I've woven a lot in. And then since we're using that sewing method, I think these back stitches are gonna go really quickly. Hey, Terry. Thanks again, guys, for hopping over here again. I appreciate it. And sorry for the cutting out in the middle there. So John gets a lot. I'm using John's phone, and he gets a lot more phone calls than me. So hopefully no one calls him. Oh, see, look, you guys, this is what I'm talking about. I accidentally wrapped it around that thread. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. I wrapped it around the handle there. Ugh, that's why I'm doing the sewing method. But before, we're just weaving in the stitches now. Oh, yeah, I'll show you the pom-pom maker, and I'll show you a pom-pom that I've made out of embroidery thread. So let's see. I have, I have this little container that I made. This is from a Sew Sweetness pattern. But in here, I have like all of my random thread from other projects and stuff. And I have right in here my maker. So this is a pom-pom maker. I'm hoping to actually carry these in the store because I think this is a fun idea in the Penguin and Fish shop. I think this is a fun idea to do with your excess thread. So I'm getting like a ton in here again too. I had this all the way down to hardly any, but I've been wrapping them like this, and I'll do this side, and then I'll do this side, and then you cut down the middle. But let me show you one. So I have this little cute unicorn here, but here is one of the pom-poms made out of embroidery floss. So clearly this is almost all of that coral color, but then I put a few scraps of black, scraps of purple in there. And then to get it all kind of all the one single strands, you actually brush it with like just a comb, like a bristly comb. You just brush through all the strands and it all kind of separates, and they just look nice and glossy and pretty. We're separating them so they're not the 6 strands stuck together anymore. It's just all single strands. And then you can trim it to the size you want, clean it up a little bit. But you can tie them onto Christmas presents and all of that. So that's what I've been doing. I just figure, I'll just randomly keep making pom-poms, and then soon I'll have a bunch of pom-poms I can use for gift wrapping or something. So if you're not saving excess floss, or even if you just have like, I have just this one tiny piece of floss left, I don't really want to store that with the color. I don't want to reuse that. But this will get you a couple of wraps around the pom-pom maker. So I use it to wrap presents. So when I could just, because Lynn asked, so you just wrap your gift normally. Like I actually use just like a craft paper, just brown paper. And then get some floss and tie it around a couple times, and then put that pom-pom on, and I just think it's so sweet. Fun way to get rid of the extra thread if you don't want to stitch it all up. I do use it actually for embroidery though too, so if I need, like on some of these projects that we're working on, I use it for embroidery. So I typically almost always use my scraps unless I want something special. So I do actually have a lot of embroidery floss, a lot of brand spanking new pretty embroidery floss. So if I want to use like a really pretty variegated thread, or if I'm looking for a really specific color, then I'll break open my normal bins of embroidery floss. But when I can, I just dig around in that bin and use stuff from there. But it is fun to make those pom-poms. And the pom-pom maker is just a fun, easy way to do it. Oh, great for crochet projects. That's true too. So I have actually done a ton of crochet with embroidery floss. It's a little tricky because embroidery floss wants to always, well, it's tricky for 2 reasons. It's teeny, 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 tiny, right? So you're going to have to, if you're crocheting with it, I mean like a doily or something, that's what I've done. But if you're crocheting with embroidery floss, you got to use a teeny, tiny needle. So that's its own difficulty. I think it's actually kind of fun. And then secondly, embroidery floss is meant to be able to split the threads easily, so we can go from 6 strands to 3 strands easily. But it's going to want to keep doing that when you crochet. So when you grab the thread with the crochet hook, you got to make sure you got all 6 strands or all 3 strands, whatever you're crocheting with. So you always have to keep an eye on that. Whereas with normal, like crochet thread, it's all spun together up. Oh, Paula says it froze. It looks good on my end. So I don't know if it's frozen for you guys. I know if it's froze, you probably can't hear me, but try just quitting and coming back in. That can work. But we should be good right now still. Okay, Deborah says it's okay for me. Yeah, it's okay. So it could be a connection on her end, like if internet went hiccuped or something. Okay, good. So Judy's here, Pamela's here. Okay, good. So I'm guessing it's a internet hiccup on the other side. I'm almost out of thread. I think I'm gonna actually stop right there. Let's weave in the end. But that went pretty quick. That sewing method, man, there's benefits to it. This is good practice for me because I rarely use the sewing method. Oh, some days, are you left-handed then, Sherry? Some days, Sherry says, I wish you were left-handed. I could try doing this sewing method left-handed. That'd be kind of a fun challenge. Christy played thread chicken and lost. Always a bummer. If you don't know what we're talking about, we kind of call it thread chicken when you have like 3 more stitches and you have just a tiny bit of thread left, and will you make it to the end? Like, what wins? Do you get the stitches done, or do you run out of thread first? That's the thread chicken. Oh, sure, I can zoom. I can. Do you mean like by a close up of the flowers? You just want to see them close up? I can for sure do that. Let's get these. I'll get this next bit started, and when we turn around, I'll do that. And then I'm going to attempt to stitch left-handed. That should be interesting. I think with the sewing method, I'll be able to do that. But I think my left-hander is just going to be like, what are you doing? It's not my job. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm gonna just come up right away too, since I grabbed the that handle by accident. All right, oop. All right, so we're to the front again, and it looks like some of my flowers are kind of within the hoop here, but I can kind of show you. So here we are. Here are the flowers. So I just did lazy daisy stitches around the outside, and then we varied the inside. So like this one is satin stitch. This one's all French knots, which I think is really cute. I actually really like the French knots. A few more satin stitch, satin stitch. This one on top is satin stitch on the middle with a ring of French knots. And then just a couple little baby French knots in there. So that is the flowers. I think those turned out kind of cute. It was fun experimenting with the with the French knots. I'm already just actually moving this to my left hand and holding it made my brain go into full concentration mode on my left hand, so I couldn't finish my sentence. So now I'm like, left hand, you gotta do this. So I'm actually gonna rotate it this way. I think this is gonna be easier. Okay, now my right hand's underneath. That's an odd feeling. All right, so in and out. Yeah, and then my left hand will take it. All right, I'm gonna be a little fumbly, but let's keep going here. There we go. This is a good challenge. This would be a good thing to be ambidextrous with. That'd be a neat little skill. This is probably actually a good practice to get ambidextrous with other things as well. like writing or something. This is probably a simpler motion than, oops, there we go, than all the writing. I have a feeling if I did this for like a half hour with my other hand, I have a feeling that my hand might cramp. Oh, Helen says I use the left hand to do the on top of the fabric and then the right underneath. So that's perfect. So if I'm using an embroidery stand, that's definitely what I do too. It speeds things up too. So what she's saying is, like, if this was on an embroidery stand where it's like levitating, I can have my right hand underneath and my left hand can like stab down like this. And my right hand can stab back up. And left hand can pull it out and stab underneath. But when I'm also holding the hoop, that's difficult. So if the hoop is on a stand, or like if it's clamped in a stand, or the fabric's put in a stand, then you can use that method. And then you're not actually rotating it around a lot like I am either. You can kind of stay straight on for longer. All right, you guys, I'm switching back. It actually wasn't my left hand. It was more my right hand not knowing what to do underneath here. Weird. Yeah, it's just harder for me. Okay, I'm trying to think of, I think I was thinking too much about the left hand that now I gotta actually think about the right hand. So the right hand is now touching the surface here. And it's gotta hold the hoop. We're getting a little far away from the hoop to hold. Ugh. You can tell I go into full concentration mode because I can't talk anymore. I think we're actually going to need another piece of thread before we're done here. But I could see if you got good at the left hand, you could always keep it on the top, and then, you know, when I go this way, I could use the left hand, and when I go this way, I could use the right hand, versus me like flipping it over this way. Like if I'm using my right hand, I'm still going to want to go this way. And so this is going to be a bit easier to be upside down. Whereas if I could get good with the left hand, then I could stay right side up, I suppose. But I'm going to just try and get through this. Oh, Christy says, keep experimenting. She's catching up. Nice. Well, we got all this text to do yet. That'll take some time. This little outer border will be the fast bit. Gosh, yeah, it's not my right hand actually feels not crampy, but a little more sore from that experiment. My left hand, I guess, is doing more work than I thought by being underneath here, holding things up. My right hand couldn't handle it. Yeah, this is feeling much better. Oop, almost lost the thread. We're gonna have to get another piece of thread just for the tiny little bit left. But this will be it for the blue when we're done with this banner. And if you missed the beginning and are wondering, this in and out is called the sewing method versus the stabbing method, where you go all the way down and then all the way back up. I have my piece looser in the hoop. So someone asked about this last time. I have, like, why is it so loose? It's easier when you're doing this sewing method to have it a little looser. When it's too tight, it's hard to get this up and down motion. It's nice to have a little bit of wiggle room there. All right, I think that's my last stitch. All right, just enough thread. Let's go to the back. we're all the way down here now. A lot of bag to work through. Let's trim that. All right, and I have one more little piece of blue all ready to go here. This is plenty of blue for what we have left here. Oops. All right, back up. A few more stitches. Still a big row of people outside headed to that yard sale next door. It's the perfect day for it, though. It's so sunny and nice out. Oh, good idea, Pamela. She says, have a slurp of your coffee. It's been over an hour since my last coffee sip. Good point. I will have a sip when we're done with the blue here. I think we'll go up this way. I always just keep rotating till it feels the best in my hand. But yeah, again, if you're using a stand, an embroidery stand, you can just pretty much, especially if you're, you know, have one hand putting the needle down and another coming back up, you really don't need to move around at all. But now I'm just kind of moving to where it feels the most natural for both my hands. I know John should heat up my coffee. I know it's definitely going to be chilly. I'll have to make a fresh, we do the French press. We'll have to make a fresh one when I'm done here. Oh, I think he's actually coming to do it. Nice. That's fun. Oop, my computer shut off again here. Let's make sure that's on. Ooh, he's even making some more, he's heating up water. I like that. All right, you guys, I just gotta turn my computer on again. Hold on. There we go. Okay, and that is it for the blue. And my coffee is heated up. That's fun. All right, this is long enough to put in, not really to use for another project, but to put in the pom-pom maker for sure. I should just have a pom-pom maker, pom-pom per project. Because in the kits, I usually put enough thread that there's tons of leftovers, because sometimes people, here we go, that's fine. Because sometimes people use a lot more thread than I do, or if you're using all 6 strands of thread, there should be enough for you to get by. Yum. So I usually have a lot of thread left over. So sometimes I use it again, but other times it is nice to just turn it into a pom-pom. All right, craft a happy life. That's, oh, and then we still have his toes and his eyes yet. Oh, John's being so nice. He's making more coffee, but he took the grinder into another room. so it wouldn't be loud for us. That's nice. All right. Pink, more pink. I think I'll start over here and we'll stitch this way just because it's more fun to stitch letters in order of reading them, I think. Oh, then I might be stitching them upside down quite a bit. Nah, we're fine. All right, I'm gonna weave in this end. Let's flip this way. Hey, Pamela says, good man, John, and Paula says, nice, John. It's a good Saturday. All right, 2 and 3. Ugh, I'm really excited for July's embroidery of the month. Christy's asking, what program do I sketch my patterns in? So it's kind of a bunch. So what I'm trying to use the iPad more for sketching, but a lot of times I will sketch a teeny tiny idea. Like a lot of times I draw think. So like I'll just draw like a couple blobs or something. Like it wouldn't look like anything to anyone else, but if I was like, oh, what if this looks like over there, or should I have it over here? So I might just draw a little doodle like that big just to get an idea out of my head and onto paper. So that I'll do on paper, and then I'll start sketching in on the iPad, and I use Procreate. And I also use sometimes Adobe Fresco, which is another app on there. Both of them I very much am a beginner in. So I'm trying to learn all the trying to just get used to the tools, and if you touch a screen with both fingers, it will do something then when you touch the screen with 3 fingers. So there's all these little kind of key commands. But like motion commands, or I don't know what they would call them when you're not on a computer. But like there's a whole bunch of like little things like that I don't know well on either. So I'm using the time of making these to try and learn the program a little bit more. So I would like to use the iPad more for drawing. It's an iPad Pro, so the iPad Pro has the Apple Pencil. And I kind of have an old version of it too. So I'm sure they're different and better now. But, so I'll do the sketch in there until I have it kind of close enough to where I want it. And then I will bring it into the computer, and I will use Adobe Illustrator. So when you get my patterns, they have just really clean, nice lines that aren't sketchy at all. I mean, like this, like they're all the same width, and the curves are nice, and there's no like weird jarring points and stuff. I'm retracing my design in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. That's what's giving me the really nice lines, and it takes a while to learn how to do like the really clean lines. I use the pen tool. I don't use the pencil tool. So I don't know, would any of you guys be interested in a Facebook or a stream of that? Like how I outline things or how I work on designs? We could do something like that sometime. Then it'd also be like a preview of a future design too. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll try and figure out how we could do that sometime. Figure out how to get my computer set up to a stream. That'd be kind of fun. But yeah, so I take, in theory, my current workflow is I start on the iPad, I sketch out my ideas, and then I tweak them until it's pretty close. But I'm not good at doing like all the nice smooth lines and anything on the iPad, so I bring that back in. I'm gonna go under this cross area. I bring it back into Illustrator where I am very comfortable, and I'll do the line work, the final line work in there. However, I started doing some more illustration-y things that I am trying to do completely on the iPad. Some things that are supposed to look more sketchy or more like screen printy, that sort of look. I am trying to learn how to do on the iPad a little bit more. It's a process, always learning, right? That's what I'm trying to do. The sketching process definitely takes the longest. Once I bring it into Illustrator, then it's quick. Then I'm just tracing what I already have done. So what I already, in theory, have figured out. When I'm sketching, when I'm still in Procreate, then I'm like, should this thing be a little bit bigger? Should it be smaller? Is this working at all? Or I need another element of whatever over here. Or it's just horrible and I hate it. And it looks horrible until it doesn't anymore. That's typically how it goes. So you got to work through the horrible. So if I do draw on a... I think I caught the gist of that comment. I didn't see it all. But if I am drawing it on paper first, so a lot of times I'll sketch it out on paper, and then I'll be like, ooh, I kind of like that sketch. I don't want to redo it on the iPad, or like, I don't think I'll get the proportions the same if I redraw it. I will just take a photo with the iPad. So I'll take a literal photo, and I will import that photo into my document, and then I'll use it as a guide. I'll start tracing from there. So I'm making a lot smaller stitches with this text, especially around these curves, just so I can get them to look right. And that's actually a little bit more difficult for me with this sewing method, but we're making it work. Halfway done already. This is great. It is faster though. This sewing method kind of cruises along here. I think we'll do this crossbar here. Yay, we're almost ready to do this lining. So that'll be kind of interesting, I think. I have a concept of how I'm going to do this lining, but I haven't tested it yet. But I think it'll be easy enough. Like probably the simplest way to do a lining. I still might add a pocket though, because I think once I cut the fabric, I think I will have, since I'm using fat quarters, I won't have enough with one fat quarter to do the full lining, but I'll have plenty left over if I use two. So I think I might use some of that leftover to make a cute little pocket. I could even make two pockets. We'll just do one. Don't want to get carried away. But that'd be nice, because then you can throw like a scissors or something in there. I'm not going to make it anything special. Like I won't make it snap shut or zipper or anything like that. It'll just be like an open little pocket. All right, I think, I can probably get a couple more stitches out of here. Just thinking it's about time to weave in these ends, but I think I can get 2 more stitches out. All right. Now let's go to the back. Getting there. I think I'll also press this a little bit. Oh, do I really need to? I'll throw on the iron. We'll give it a press anyway. Before we do the lining. Then I can iron the lining parts too. So I just turned on my iron so it can preheat. Snip. All right, one more piece of thread will do it, I think. There we are, we're not lined up here. What does the other end look like? There we go. Okay. Weave in the ends again. My main want of a lining here is just to protect the backs of these stitches. You could just put like an iron-on stabilizer on top of it, like an iron-on interfacing. You could just literally iron it on the back and it would protect it. But I think a lining is gonna give it extra, make it extra sturdy and just, you know, add that extra level of cute and safety. So we're gonna do that. Just make sure I didn't stitch through anything. Okay, good. We're fine. Oh, sorry, guys. So who else is going to be cleaning their house for the rest of the day? I think today is going to be about getting some of the little things done as a point of relaxation. That's how I relax, is just clean up the crap that's laying everywhere. I did the laundry yesterday. That was a big finish. All those things. All right. Almost done with this word. It's being trickier, this sewing method too, with these letters, just because I'm not as accurate with the sewing method as the stabbing method. So I feel like my letters could maybe be a little bit better if I did the stabbing method. Yes, I have a stack of fabric on my dining table a foot high. Oh, dang, Rebecca. Ooh, that sounds nice, though. Yeah, usually by the end of the week, you know, I work on a project each week in the evenings, right? Usually by the end of the week, it's just, this workspace is just horrendous. Oh, you wish it was relaxing? Oh, but you're always, but just that, the OCD of cleaning and, ugh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, you missed the cleaning boat today. Oh, it's 7 p.m. in Scotland. Ooh, did some weeding in the garden. That's the same thing, Pamela. I consider that cleaning. Cleaning up the garden. We need to do that too. Pretty hardcore. Oh, we might have some edible sized zucchinis out there. I'll have to check later. We do have to cut some kale. So maybe we'll trim some kale and make a big salad or something. I haven't made soup in a while. I'd like to make some soup. And that kale, if you throw it in soup right at the end, oh, dang, that's good. It makes like these little mini kale bowls that all the soup kind of sits in. It's just so yummy. Love kale and soup. All right. And we might have a lot of kale, so we might need to use it for other stuff, like soup. I'm gonna do that French knot last, just because French knots kind of get in my way. Oh yeah, what time is soup? Oh, are zucchinis courgettes? I don't know. I've never heard of courgettes. So a zucchini is a type of squash that it doesn't have like an outer squashy thing. It actually looks like a cucumber, but it's a squash. Or, oh, I'm gonna have to look up those. Oh, Christy says they're the same. Okay. Dang, I'm gonna have to Google all those fun new garden-y words that I don't know, or that sound familiar but haven't actually looked up. Okay. Oh, courgettes, aubergines are eggplants. Oh, that's way more fun to say. Ooh, kale chips. Oh, that is always good. Oh, we could do that. Oh, dang. That is fun to make the kale chips. That's like when I'll eat a giant mound of kale in one sitting is when we make those chips. Ugh, I haven't done that in a while. Those are so good. Oh, soft G for both. Alrighty. All right, let's get the last little French knot here, and then that's it for the embroidery. Ha 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 ha. Is the soft G the J sounding one? So is it like courgettes? That sounds French. That would make sense. Is that the soft G? I can't remember. Courgette and aubergine. Okay. When I think of it as French, that makes more sense. Oh, courgette. Courgette. All right. Interesting. Courgette. All right. Snip. All right, we are done with the embroidery, you guys. Let's take it out of the hoop and we'll check it out here. The sewing machine's big in the way here. Okay. Oh, we're done with the hoop. Don't even need that around anymore. Oh, we are not done, you guys. I forgot. He has eyes and toes still. Yep. Oh, thanks, Rebecca. Rebecca caught it. Let's do it. Eyes and feet. Yep. Helen saw that too. All right, let's just frame this whole thing in again. Oh man. It's like when you finish up binding on the quilt and realize you still have to make a label. You think you're done and there's one tiny little bit to go. All right. Okay, I have some black here yet. Why don't we do the eyes first? So the eyes I'm gonna do a little bit different than the toes. The toes I'm gonna weave in the ends to the back, but there's nothing really to weave in here. I mean, I could weave in the ends here and then make a jump to there, but I kind of don't want to see the black line behind. And this is why people like putting an interfacing down before they start stitching, like a stabilizer or interfacing on the back, because then they can do these jumps. Like I could go from here to here with black and you wouldn't see it underneath. So that's a case where having a interface on the back is a good idea. But since I don't have that and I don't want it to be seen, I'm gonna start with an away knot on both of these. So we may be wasting a little thread on these eyes, but that's okay. I don't mind. Got that whole bin of black or of extra thread. All right, so I'm gonna just go in here. And all right, I'm gonna kind of make tiny little hexagons for the eyes. So I'm gonna use like 6 stitches. I think I like doing that. They're gonna be itty bitty too. I like doing that over just 4, like doing a diamond shape, because then sometimes those diamond shapes just look a little too pointy for me. So, and you could actually just fill these in. I think that would look totally fine. You could do a French knot. That would be fine. But I do like doing these small little stitches just around. All right, last one here. So then I'll weave in this end just behind the black. And then I'll have to weave in the other end. So it will be bulky behind, but I think it gives it a nice look there. I like it. Oop, sorry, I keep hitting you guys. All right, teeny little bits here. All right, and let's trim I'm gonna leave the needle on here because I'm gonna do the other eye, but let's, actually, no, I'm not. I should have not snipped that and done that. Oh well, now I am gonna take it off of the needle, or off of the thread, because I could actually, you know, all these away knots, you could leave a whole bunch of those around, and then just, as long as they're out of the way of your other stitches, you could snip them at the end. Like, I could have easily left this and done the other eye, and then wove both ends in. But there, now we shouldn't be able to see like a big jump of black on the back here. All right. Snip that, and back to our other little piece here. Tie that knot, because I am going to do that away knot again. All right, so let's throw that in way over here from the front and hop back up to the eyeball. So I try and get these to look the same size, but it doesn't always happen. That's okay too. Again, I'm making that hexagon shape. And I still don't think that I needed to do these because we have it printed in the black, but it just looks further in the background, kind of. Oops, oh, this one might just be 5. This one's going to be a pentagon, not a hexagon. So, oh well, I didn't do the flat bottom. So this one's a pentagon. It's got 5 sides instead of the 6. Actually, doesn't look that bad either. Ooh, Sylvia's cooking a birthday cake. That sounds amazing. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, and let's take that needle off because we will snip this. I think this is going to be enough thread for the bottom, though. I'm going to actually snip this from the back. There we go. I can just take the little knot off of the front. I don't have to flip it around again. Okay, 1. Oops, shoot. Maybe made this a little short. Pumpkin cake. Huh. I'm not sure I've had a pumpkin birthday or pumpkin like cake before. That's interesting. That sounds amazing. All right, I'm actually going to trim this a little closer. There we go. All right, our eyeballs are done. Great. Yeah, I think that it did add to it by having them stitched versus not stitched. So, all right, let's get these little feet. I'm gonna weave in the end, stitch them, and then weave in the end again, and then we'll start fresh on that side. Okay, hopefully this is enough thread. Otherwise, I got another piece here. I think this lining will go pretty quick. It'll still be at least a half hour, though, I think, for the lining. All right, I'm going to start on the outsides and go to the inside, I think. Did I catch anything? I feel like I keep catching the back, but I'm good. There, and one more. Well, that was easy. All right. Cute. All right, let's weave in the end. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just travel. It's going to use up more floss, but I think I have enough to do with. I'm going to just travel through the backs of the stitches here. so you can't see my line. I don't need a bathroom break yet, but sometimes when I do the really long versions of these shows, then it'd be good. It wouldn't hurt, but I think I'm good. All right. There, now that's the last stitch right there. There we go. Now let's weave in those ends. Now I'm for real done. Ooh, now I want pumpkin cake. That sounds so good. Pumpkin cake and coffee. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna paint the picture now. Pumpkin cake with cream cheese frosting, with some of the pumpkin like ground up in there, kind of like carrot cake, but it's pumpkin. Maybe a little, a minimal amount of nuts on the cream cheese frosting, and a coffee. Oh, that sounds right. It's that cream cheese frosting. That stuff's the best. All right. Oh man, that sounds amazing. All right, I'm gonna just take this out. We'll take a look at it. I think, oh, my iron, turn it back on. Get my hoop out of the way here. Don't need my needle anymore. Aw, there he is, all done with the embroidery on this guy. Awesome. It's going to be so cute. Even when it's closed, I think it's just, you still can see it and everything. I like that. Ooh, a chocolate zucchini cake with mocha frosting. Oh my God, Kathy, that sounds so good. Hopefully we get enough zucchinis in the garden to do some of those fun things like that. All right, so just so you guys can see, this is what I have left over of thread. So I'm just gonna group it in a bundle like this. I'm just gonna, why don't we throw it in here right away? So I do have like a little cast offs. These little ones I'll throw away, like my little tiny knots and stuff. That I won't keep. But these guys I will. Some aren't very long, some are the 3 strands. But again, I just kind of toss it in here when I'm done with a project. And occasionally I will wrap it around my pom-pom maker. I put just as much as I can on this side, and then the same thing on the other side. And then you actually cut through this groove. You cut them all, and then you actually pop this. You have to tie a knot around it, but then you pop this apart. We'll go over that sometime. I think that'd be fun. But again, what that makes is these adorable pom-poms. Look how cute it is. I just think they're the cutest things ever. So I did actually order a bunch of these, especially at Christmas time. I think it'd be fun. You could do garland with all these pom-poms. So I ordered some of these. I'll have them in the shop soon, and we'll maybe play around with them a little bit more. Because look, this is getting excessive again. It's time to make some pom-poms. But there, so I just keep that stored in my little zipper pouch here. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, I throw in a couple embroidery needles on top there, because if I really wanted to, I could throw a piece of fabric in here and a pencil or something, and a scissors, and we could just draw on some fabric, and I'd have all my floss with me. That's all my scrap in there. It's piling up again. All right, so I'm gonna give this a little press. It's actually kind of flat. I don't think we would really need to do that, but I'm going to do it anyway. On Instagram, watch, make a rainbow pom-pom. Ooh, that'd be fun. So we have done crazy pom-poms before where I'm going to press this whole thing on the back like this, where we've actually made like animals, like where you can actually choose where the thread goes so that when you cut it open, it looks like a face, like that sort of thing. I suspect that might be kind of what you're talking about, but for rainbows. It really is a fun little mind bender, really, to do that. So that would be fun to try that again. it's like what you wrap that's closest to the center is the most inside thing, and as you go out, it ends up like it's a mirror image that expands. So whatever you wrap right here will be expanded just to the center, but whatever you wrap all the way at the end will go mirror image on both sides. So it's, you got to think of a face or whatever you're making as like in half, and what's on the most inside of your axis, and then going out where it really is kind of a mind bender, but it's fun to do. All right, so I didn't press right on the embroidery. I'm going to just kind of go on the outside. You can, if you put a fluffy towel down, you can actually press on the embroidery. I would flip it around and press on the back of the embroidery, but this isn't all that bad. I just wanted to make sure that nothing was too crinkled, that the size felt off. Okay. So, oh, and while I'm here with the iron, let's iron our lining fabrics again. So these are my two lining fabrics. Aren't they the most adorable thing ever? So they're both by Heather Ross, and it's Wyndham Fabrics, and it's the Briar Rose collection. But I thought it kind of fit with the little hedgehog, and these are like two of my prized possession fabrics. So I'm breaking them out and I'm using them. So we'll see. Pretty excited about it. So let's just give them a little press. I do have some like little spray water that I could spray down, but I think we're fine like this. They're not that crinkly. Gosh, I need a slightly larger wool mat for this, but this wool mat really is perfect for this small space that I'm working in, but every once in a while it'd be nice if it was a few inches bigger, or as big as this whole piece. Look how cute this fabric is. Just kills me. It's just the cutest. Okay. There we are. Okay, let's set that aside and get this one. So our lining, it's going to be two pieces of fabric together. So when you open it, there's going to be one, like open the bag, there's going to be one side there and one side there. If you want to use the same fabric on both sides, then you'll just need a little larger piece than this fat quarter. So you could definitely use both. We're going to figure out exactly what size lining mine needs in a sec here. I'm going to measure my bag. So the bags might not all be perfectly the same size. And I haven't tested this either. I'm kind of going on theory, so I think it's gonna be okay though. Oh, look at this little bee's knitting. So sweet. Cutest fabric. And I actually have never used, I have a bunch of her fabric like this. I've never used it yet because, again, it's just, I've been admiring it from afar and haven't honored it to honor the fabric yet by making something with it. So I'm pretty stoked that I'm finally doing it. All right, there we are. Get rid of this guy. And now I'm gonna get my mat, my cutting mat out here. This is my expandable cutting mat. I am gonna put it on the larger size because I think we're gonna need it. Let's put it up this way. You know what? My that sewing machine, my grandma's sewing machine, is still up here. I think I'm gonna move that so I have a bigger workspace here. Oh, it's gonna be so fun to figure it out though. Dang, those puppies are heavy though. Gosh, that is about half the weight though as that 1960s Kenmore sewing machine. That one I need to fix and play around with yet too. But that one is, God, like twice as heavy. That one's, can't believe how heavy that one is. Okay, so I'm gonna just lay this flat. So it does open up completely flat. You'll have these handles dangling around, but if one's too tight, you can just pull on it and it'll just pull from the other side. So there we are. I'm gonna grab a ruler. And let's just see exactly how big this is. So I am only gonna do the lining up to this edge here. Because I don't want to sew into here because I don't want to accidentally sew over the line. So what I'm going to try and do is sew really close to this seam line. So you will be able to see it. I could change my thread color so it matches a little bit more, but you'll be able to see the stitch line here. But that's my goal, is to go up to that seam. So what I want to do is, and these have I don't know, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance just because I'm used to that. But okay, so this is about 14 inches. Gosh, it's almost exactly 14 inches. And then up to that seam, I'm just going to go up to that seam. All right, it's about just over 15 inches. It's about 15 1/4. Sorry, you guys, are you still here? Okay. I'm actually going to go a little bit more up here, but here I'm only going to add a 1/2 inch. So let's think about this. So I'm going to do, this is 14 inches. I'm going to add a 1/4 inch to each side, and that's going to leave me with 14 1/2 inches. So I'm going to cut a piece that's 14 1/2 inches wide. And then this is, you know, a little over 15 inches. I think I'm going to add, I got to add that a 1/4 inch down here. So that's, now I'm at 15 1/2. But I think on the top I'm going to add a whole extra inch. Then I can press it underneath, and it'll be a little bit easier. So up here, I'm going to do 16 1/2. So that adds my 1/4 inch to the bottom plus an inch on the top. So 14 1/2 by 16 1/2. That's what I'm cutting. All right, and I'm going to cut that for both pieces here. And these seem directional, so I'm going to keep that in mind. So I think what I'm going to do is just cut all the way up, because these are about 18 inches tall. So I'll just have a little bit extra. All right, so I'm going to just kind of line it up. I have the selvage on this side, so I'm going to cut that off. And let's do both at once. This is less directional. Oh, but we're going sideways here like this. Oh yeah, it is directional too. So all these little grasshoppers I want up. You can use steam. Sometimes I use steam when I have like really hard wrinkles. I won't use steam, but I'll spray my fabric, and that will like with I have a little like rose water thing by me here, and I'll spray that on it, and then I will iron it. I haven't put water in this sewing machine, or this iron yet. Gosh, I should give that a try though sometimes. Sometimes I used to use steam a lot. Steam and starch. I used that all the time during the first Splendid Sampler quilt along, but it kind of ruined my pressing surface, and so I just kind of stopped. I've been just trying to get by. Oh, Deborah says I only use the spritz and the iron too. Yeah. Hold on a sec here. All right. All right, I'm just trimming off the selvages right now. That is, sometimes the selvages have all that writing on, like who the designer is and stuff. Other times the selvage just has these little dots. Those dots are where the machine pulls the fabric through while it's printing. So this is actually woven a bit tighter, so it can handle it being pulled. So that's why you want to cut them off, because because it's woven tighter, it's not gonna act the same as the rest of your fabric. Like, it's not gonna stretch the same. It's not gonna shrink the same. So you wanna trim those off. So I cut both of those off. Some people save these and use them for other stuff. Like you could tie them together, or you know, you can still sew and use them. It's just gonna be weird when you're working on a big piece like this, but they're pretty damn cute. I'm gonna save them. Ah, so cute. I love this fabric. Okay, what did I say? 14.5 inches. I'm gonna just use my mat as a guide here. All right, we're just gonna count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.5. I will double check that because this part always freaks me out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 14.5. Let's trim, get my glove back on. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there. So this extra over here, I'm totally gonna make a pocket out of there. I'm actually gonna leave it so the edges are together yet, and we'll cut a shape for a pocket. All right, so 16.5 this way. I'm gonna scooch it down a little bit though. I'm gonna trim that bottom edge so it matches. Okay, we're good there. So let's rotate this whole thing. It's a nice thing about having a mat just on a flat surface like this that I can just move around. All right, so I'm trimming this kind of rough edge over here, and then we'll get that 16.5. Okay, there's that. The scraps are so pretty from this too. All right, 16.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.5. Just a tiny bit left here. So we're not wasting hardly anything here, which is great. Okay, let's double check that though. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.5. Okay, we're good. There we go. So this will be our 2 inside pieces. I'm gonna just, we'll separate them. So I'm gonna make that pocket right away because I think we're gonna, look how that ended up centered there. Oh, that was not, I was not trying to do that, but look how pretty that looks. We centered all that greenery right there. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so that's making me think that I'm not gonna put the pocket on this side because I wanna see all that. So I'm gonna put the pocket on this side. So let's just even shimmy this out of the way. That turned out so cool. All right, hold on, guys. I gotta turn my computer back on. All right. Hold on a sec. Okay. So let's look at this. So I think what I'd like to do, I am going to take these apart just so I can visualize here. I'm going to do like this orange pocket. So let's fold it up. Let's pretend. So maybe like right in here. Ah, it's gonna be so pretty. So right in here, kind of maybe, let's call it halfway down. I think we'll have it on the back. So when we open this up, it'll be on this side, not on this side, just because then it's not, that extra weight isn't pulling away from the front. So I actually like this size. We'll actually, we're gonna lose a 1/4 inch on each side. So this is actually, it'll be like a nice big pocket. I kind of like it. I kind of like it just like this. So then this will be the outside and this will be the inside of the pocket. I think. I'm trying to visualize this in my head a little bit. And I think we're just gonna do a square. We're not gonna, I'm not gonna taper the sides or anything like that. We're just gonna do a square like this. So I think I'm gonna just eyeball cut this. I do like the width. So let's just cut 2 pieces. You could, Sylvia. You could put some sort of closure on this, like a zipper. That would be pretty cool. Dang, now we're getting into it. Let's think. Do I have a zipper nearby? I don't think I have a zipper. I'm going to just leave it open. We're going to do just like the easiest possible pocket. All right, I'm going to fold these right sides together, and I think I might have to trim it all again. Yeah, I think later I could put a little magnet closure or something in, and guess I'm just not going to worry about that. We'll just leave it as is. I think these edges are close enough to each other, so I'm going to call that my good edge. And I'm going to just trim a shape out of here. We're just totally keeping it. We're just eyeballing all these cuts for sure. Ah, zipper would have been a good idea. I didn't think of that. I don't have a zipper near me. But that would have been kind of cute. We're just keeping it simple. All right, getting that edge. So all I'm going to do for this pocket is I'm going to just sew two sides together with right sides together, and then I'm going to flip it inside out. We're going to press it really well, and then I'm going to just sew down 3 edges, and that's it. We'll top stitch it. We'll top stitch it a little bit. The top will top stitch, and then the rest will do the sides. I think that'll make sense in a moment. All right, let's cut. Let's see. I think again, we're going to be losing a 1/2 inch. So if I'm thinking the final size, that's kind of big yet, isn't it? Should we make it smaller? No, I kind of liked it big. So ultimately it'll be this size. So we'll trim it 1/2 inch here. And how long do we want it? It's kind of deep, but maybe that's kind of cute. We're just deciding. Right here is where I'm going to cut it. We're going to lose a 1/4 inch around the whole thing. Ooh, look, and I still have a really nice chunk of both fabrics left over. That makes me happy. Okay, one last cut. And let's do it. Let's trim right here. It's going to be big old pocket here. Okay, so we need to actually start by sewing the pocket because we want to get that on the bag before we sew the bag pieces together. So let's get the sewing machine over here. I just need to go rotate it like that, and we're good to go. So what we're going to do now, let's make sure these are both right side up. Oh, so cute. All right, so I'm going to leave a little space on the bottom. Oh, can I measure this? Yeah, I'll measure this so you guys can do the same thing if you want. Let's see. What did we end up here? So it's 7 inches tall. I have no idea what this is going to look like, but it's 7 inches tall for the cut by 6.5. So that's what I cut mine by. 6.5 wide and 7 tall, both pieces. Okay. So I'm going to leave a little space at the bottom, and you know what? I'll even throw in a reminder, couple of wonder clips on the bottom there. So hold on. All right, so this is a reminder to start and stop after this. So I'm just to reiterate, I'm sewing the right sides of the fabric together. So this is the wrong side, and like the back side. This is the back side. So the good sides are together, and I'm going to sew all the way around. But I'm going to leave a little hole on the bottom, and we're going to turn it right side out of there. The hole is probably actually going to be kind of this big. So all right, let's do that. Simplest of pockets. All right, we'll get our little light on here too. Actually, this is my embroidery needle. Let's plop that back here. Okay, we should be good to go here. All right. Actually, I'm going to remove this out of the way. I don't think we need that ender there. Let's start right here. I'm going 1/4 inch, and I'm going to back tack 2. So I'm going to go forward a couple stitches, and then I'm going to go reverse for a couple stitches. That's going to kind of lock this in place. And there we go. Now we're going to go forward again, and I'm going to snip these while they're here. Okay. All right, needle down, and then rotate, and we'll get this long side. You could actually clip and pin all these sides if you want, but they're sticking together just fine, so. One more, I think. There we are. Make sure the edges are together again. All right. And we probably could have gotten one more stitch out of there, but I think we're fine. All right, so now here is where I got to leave that hole. And I think we're going to go to about this spot here. All right, so now I'm going to back tack again here. Backwards, forwards. All right. Let's just snip those close and snip these close. All right, so I need to turn these right side out now, and we're gonna get the iron back out here too. Make sure that's still heated. Okay, but before we turn it right side out, I'm gonna actually snip these corners a little bit. So you can see the sewing goes from there to there. I'm actually gonna cut off a little bit above, but at an angle, and that's because when I turn it right side out, all that bulk is going to need a place to go in this tiny, tiny space. So if we get rid of that bulk beforehand, it'll lay flatter in theory. So let's do that on all 4 sides. I'm a few threads away from that corner. I'm not exactly on it. All right, there we go. And now we're going to just turn it right side out through the hole. So that hole we made is down here. All right. And you can use like a chopstick or something. I made the hole big enough that I can get my fingers in there. But one tool I like using sometimes for this is the hemostat. Here's what the hemostat can do. So I can kind of grab a corner with it. Like if I go in here and I grab this corner, I can kind of clamp it and then pull it all the way through. And that works really well for corners. But right now, I'm going to actually just use it as a nice pointy shape that I can poke out these ends, because I don't have a chopstick or anything nearby. But I'm just kind of running it along all the edges, and they're poking out the points. Running along this edge here. Let's poke out this point. Your points are going to be nicer because you got rid of those, you cut those little corner bits. Got a corner up here. I am just kind of running along that seam. It helps push everything out. All right, and then one more down here. All right. so that's our pocket basically there. So I'm gonna press this. I wanna get these seams all as flat as I can get them. And I might even try and poke them out as I'm pressing them a little bit, so it's a little bit more square. But one thing I'm gonna do just quickly first is I'm gonna pull on the both ends that have this bottom open area, and that's gonna help kind of close it all up. So I'm pulling on it, which is gonna make it wanna fold. I'm gonna just hold those points there, and I'm gonna press that first. So remember, this is my outside, and then this is gonna be the lining. So I wanna err on the side of making this outside good. So I'm gonna actually just pull it over the other side a little bit so you don't see that other color peeking through. So when we sew this to the back, that's when we'll be closing this hole. So this hole's open right now still, but we'll be, the act of sewing it to the lining will get it closed. And there's one extra thing I want to do before we sew it to the lining, and that is I'm going to top stitch this edge. So you can see right now it's a little bubbly, right? Even you know, these sides that we've already pressed, there's the opportunity for those edges to come apart and like bubble up like this again. These sides are going to be sewn to the lining, so that those will remain flat, but this might bubble up again like this. So to prevent that, I'm gonna press it and I'm gonna just sew across the top of the line there. It's called top stitching because we'll actually be able to see that line. We'll actually see that line on top of our fabric there. So you can actually change the color of your thread if you want to make it more decorative, but we're gonna just sew a line across here. And then this will always lay flat too, because it won't be sewn to anything else. And then these sides, I won't do that because the act of sewing to the lining will get that effect. But let's press this top first. Let's see if I can push it out anymore. Yeah, this is fine. Oops, I kind of messed this up down here now. I want to tuck that green up a little bit more. But our background is going to be green, so it's going to just all blend in. I just want to see this orange more at the bottom. We can adjust that when we sew a little bit too. All right, so let's do that top stitching. I'm just going to go across the top piece there. We'll start and end with some back stitches. And that'll be good. Ugh, it looks like I could have pushed those out a little bit more though. I'm gonna leave it. All right. So I'm not gonna go a 1/4 inch in. I'm literally gonna go like about a 1/16 of an inch in here. It's kind of just like a decorative, just little top area, like we're just holding down that edge so it stays flat is the technical reason why we're doing this. So forward, back a few stitches, and forward again, right close to the edge. Trying to be careful. All right, let's go backwards a little bit to hold that in place and forward. Okay, so that should do the job. I can snip these threads really close if I like. Good enough. And this side. There, so this is the top of the pocket. So now it's got this nice finished edge there. We're ready to get this on the inside. So, all right, let's take a look at this again. I think we'll move this out of the way. Okay, so here's the inside again. I think so first of all, I'm putting it upright. So remember, this is directional fabric. It's meant to be, it's meant to be this way because of these little cricket guys. These grasshoppers are upright then versus, here they're upside down. It would really work either way. But so it's like this. And I just kind of want this right in the center. So remember, we're going to lose about 1 inch on the top and we're going to lose a little bit on the sides. I think I might just, I don't know, kind of right in the middle there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually fold this in half, get myself a little center line. I'm just going to kind of finger press along this edge here so I can find the center. If it's not in the center, that doesn't matter. But there, now I got that line. I could put that center fold here too. All right, so let's match up those folds, about right like there. And then again, let's just eyeball. I'm getting rid of about that much. That looks pretty nice right there, I think. I am going to get the pins out though now. So just so you guys know, I'm putting it about, let's see. Well, let's go exactly. It's 5 inches from the top is where, I'm putting it at 5 1/4 inches from the top. There, that's about right. All right, so we're centered. It's where I want it to be. I am going to pin this. Just because we're on the inside here, I can't use clips, but I don't want this to move. So I'm going to just grab my pins. And remember, we're not sewing the top. We're just sewing around the edges here. You could make sure you put a bunch of extra stitches at the joining here so it doesn't, because that's going to get a lot of abuse up there. But all right, I'm going to just... You actually don't even need to put the pins on the side. If you put the pins more on the inside, so let's go right here and get the pin out of the way of our sewing, we can actually sew all the way around without having to remove any of the pins. So let's just put a few more on the inside. And we'll put one more up top here. Okay, let's sew all the way around and we'll have our inner pocket and then we can finally make the outside or the whole lining, put it together. But this is just looking like the cutest thing ever right now. I'm loving it. Okay, let's head to the machine. But yes, you could put a zipper pocket here. You could do buttons, like make a flap for it and add buttons. I mean, you could definitely play with this a lot more. But I'm just keeping it simple. All right. So again, I am only going to go in about 1/16 of an inch like what we did at the top here. So I'm not going like 1/4 of an inch or anything. All right, I'm going to just go back and forth in this spot a few times just to give it extra sturdiness, I think. You can actually go into the lining a little bit too. They're up top there. That adds an extra little bit of security going over that edge. All right, now let's do it. See, the pin is over here, but since I didn't have it right on the edge, I can just keep sewing. Oops. Get my scrap out of the way here. So I don't have to worry about taking out pins. All right, I think I might go back and forth a little here to this bottom point here. All right, rotate. So now this is the side that I have that open area yet. No, this isn't a zipper foot. This is actually the only foot I have for this machine. It's not a zipper foot, although you could, it's thin enough that you probably could use it for a zipper foot. You can use just a normal foot, it won't matter. Oops, I was gonna go backwards here too for a couple stitches. There, all right. Now here again, I'm closing the pocket here where we turned it right side out. I'm just gonna kind of tuck in that underneath side so I don't see it, because it was kind of popping out a little bit, although it blends into the background. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Or at all. Get in there. All right, let's do our little back stitching. Okay. And this is our last bit here. Remember, we're not sewing the top. Add a little back tack in. And here I think I'm gonna stitch over that edge again a little bit. So stitch over into the lining for a stitch or two, then backwards over it all again, and we'll do that one more time. Getting that extra sturdiness on the edge there. All right, and I guess we'll just go up. Well, no, I think we can stop right there. So I think that worked, so let's snip. All right, so we can take out those pins. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and I'm gonna snip those thread ends, and I'll snip them on the back as well. Just tug on them a bit to bring that front thread through. There we go. So our pocket is done there. So just a simple, this is actually a rather deep pocket. I kind of like it. It'd be perfect for, like, you know, throwing the little scissors in there. It doesn't close, but again, I think that's fine. You could, at this point, you could like put a little button on, or actually probably should have done that beforehand so you can make a buttonhole, but I think it's fine. You could put a button up here and a button here and then a string to wrap it around. That would actually be kind of cute. But I think we're going to just leave it just as is, a simple little pocket, the end. So, all right, you guys, we are on to the last bit here. So all we have to do now is, oh yeah, you could add a snap. That would be really cute too. I don't have any of that stuff nearby me, but a zipper would have been fun too, but this one's going to be simple. All right, so next up, we're going to kind of do like the pocket. We're going to put the right sides together, this side and this piece here, and we are going to sew around the edges here, but we will have this open edge here that we're going to eventually flip. And actually, you know what? I think maybe we should flip this first and press it and then sew. That's what we should do. Okay, you guys, I'm going to flip and press this about an inch. We are going to go like that right away. I don't think we need to top stitch that because we'll be sewing it directly to the thing. But I'm gonna, yeah, let's get this flipped first. I think, again, I'm making this up as a concept as I go, but I think I'm going to just flip this around. This is the top. Let's flip this and press about that inch in, that inch extra that we did. So let's just kind of measure. Maybe a little less. We can finger press it a little bit. There, I think that looks good there. Let's just hit it with the iron. Oops. Get it to an inch down here. right, that looks decent. And an inch down here. So again, this is the top. We're kind of making that nice edge right away. All right. Suppose we didn't need to do a full inch here, but it does, you know, we're going to be, it's just easier to press over, really. You could have done a little bit less, probably. All right, so let's do the same thing on this side, or on the other piece. Oh, it's going to be cute. So we're going to flip it to the back. So this is the top here. Let's do about an inch there as well. That looks good. A little less. I want these to still be the same size as each other, so that's what I'm trying to measure versus just doing a quick flip. All right. So we're still going to put right sides together, but yeah. But this time we're going to not turn it right side out because we want the inside to be the right sides. So let's match up these folded edges up here. There, like that. So we're going to leave that open and we're going to just sew around the edge here. And I think we'll do that same thing where we pin it, but we put the pins towards the inside and then we can just keep going around. I like that idea versus clips. So actually, I'm going to pin this top, even though we're not stitching it, but I do want to start there as the thing that's being perfectly aligned. Maybe that'll clip. Got a couple clips here. There we go. You guys, now I'm thinking, I think I should have, I think we should do this after. Yep. I'm changing this. So this will be good because I'll have a guide of where to flip it, but I'm gonna sew all the way around the edge first because then I can flip the whole thing and then we'll have a nice finished edge. So we're gonna do it this way instead. So sorry about that. But it's good that I pressed that there, I think, because that will be it'll have some muscle memory then, right? It'll know that that's where it wants to land. That's where it wants to flip, so that'll make this easier. All right, now let's do that pinning around the edge here. Oh, let's line it up. So I'm going a little to the inside again. Then I can keep sewing without stopping. Let's double check. I'm just double checking that my pocket is going in the right direction. Yep, it is. There we go. All right, let's do the bottom edge. We're getting there, you guys. It's gonna be cute. Oh, I'm so happy that I'm using this fabric. This is, like I said, it's been some of my favorite fabric that's just been sitting around, too pretty to use. And I like, with some of my favorite fabrics, I like using it as big chunks like that. Oh, Amy says that this fabric is adorable. Again, this is from the Briar Rose collection from Heather Ross. I've had it for probably a decade now. I think it's that old already. I think she might have even have re-released it since then. But with the fabric that I really love, especially big panels like this, where I don't want to cut it up into little pieces, I like having like big projects like this to work on. So, all right, we're going to sew all the way on these 3 sides. We're going to leave that top open. I have the top marked with the clips. All right. This is it. We have this seam and one more seam to stitch, and then we are done. The next seam we'll be stitching on the inside of it. That's actually going to be a little tricky on this machine. That's why I was thinking of my other machine earlier, because my 70s Kenmore sewing machine, that's a little, that were the feed dogs. I think I kept saying presser feet before, but I meant feed dogs. Where the feed dogs weren't going down or weren't coming back up, they were staying down. That had a thing you could remove, and then you'd have an arm. And that would have, like for sewing sleeves and stuff, that would have worked better than this machine for the next part, but I think we're gonna make it work still. Ooh, stabbed myself. Holy cow, I have not used pins. Ooh, that was a good one. Haven't used pins in a while. I'm used to Wonder Clips, but I thought, oh, this would be fun. I like this way of pinning where you can pin on the outside and still just continuously sew. But holy cow. I guess that's what pins do. Okay. Last bit here. Thank you guys all again for joining me here today. I appreciate it. I know we've been here a long time today. And thanks for your subscribes and likes and all that. That always helps things get shared more, and I appreciate it a ton. If you guys do subscribe, if you click the bell icon, then you'll be notified like through email when I go live again, and I'm live every weeknight at 8:30 Central Time in the evenings here. Okay, let's snip that. Snip these little ends here, and before I stab myself again, let's get rid of all of these pins. We can remove these Wonder Clips now too. Now where we pressed these earlier, I'm gonna actually flip the edge around. I have one of these magnetic pin cushions. They're the best. You just kind of toss your pin in that direction and it attaches. Oops. Okay, there we are. I think I will need these still. All right, but we don't have to turn this right side out because this is it. This is the lining, right? So here's that pocket. Yay, okay, I'm almost ready to put this in. But first thing I want to do is along these lines, I do want to flip this inside out now. So this part here, that's going to be the goofy part. I think I'm going to actually press this little edge. Yeah, I probably actually don't need to. I'm going to just finger press it. But I think this was actually really helpful that we pre-pressed these, because look how easy it flips. And then this little edge here too, we'll just finger press that. I don't think we need to do anything. But there we go. So that's our inside. We have our nice top flipped over right away. That's going to be helpful. All right, we need to get this into our bag now. So here's our bag. Ooh, it looks like it's a little bit bigger than our bag, but I think my bag is kind of folded over a little bit. We're just going to stuff it in here, and it's going to be fine. So I wanted the pocket on the back, so I'm going to actually flip it this way. Then when I open it, the pocket will be on the back bit. And let's just stuff it in here. I'm going to actually get my hand in here and push it all the way down. You know, this is just a thin kind of muslin bag, so you might be able to see it on the inside like you can. It's a little orange, but I don't care. Okay, let's get them stuffed down there. Okay, what I want to do now is match the edge with the edge of my fabric here. And again, I'm going to try and sew like either kind of right on that seam, so right actually below. So I'm going to put this corner right below this seam, and I'm going to actually throw a pin in there right now and hopefully not stab myself. So there we go, along that seam. And then let's do the same over here. This seam here will match up to this seam. But there, by folding it over, we get that nice clean edge. Okay, and then the rest, we are gonna just pin around as we go. And hopefully this lining isn't so big. It might be a little bit bigger. I might get a few puckers in there, so I could have measured maybe a little bit better. Oh, it's not so bad. But I'm going to pin these all along the bottom edge. Oh, it's not bad at all. So I'm going to give it a little pin in the middle. Again, I'm just tucking it right underneath that other seam line. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving this pocket for the drawstring bag. I don't want to accidentally sew into there. All right, so I pinned it in half there. Let's pin it in half again here. Actually, I'm going to kind of divide it into thirds, I think. It's nice having this seam here, though, this little edge of the bag, because it's a perfect kind of spot to tuck in our lining. Oh, it's going to be cute. So this is the big pinning time. But after this, we'll just sew around the thing in like one continuous circle. We'll open it up like this and go zoop all the way around. So you will be able to see the stitching on the outside, so you might want to match, in this case, you might want to match your bobbin thread to this outside fabric. Mine's going to be a little darker, and I'm just not caring. All right, we have this side pinned. So that's looking good. Look how cute it is, just the little peek that you get of it. Oh my God, I love it. All right, so now let's do this side. Okay, I'm really, really happy that we pre-pressed those. It's really actually helping a lot during this stage. All right, let's just kind of, right there, looks good. Oh, I'm so excited. We're going to have a finished project here. Ah, that's the best. The best, best, best. So if you guys are just popping in, we finished the embroidery on this today. This is my embroidery of the month project. We have bundles for this, but now we're just adding in a little extra fun to this by adding a lining to here. Oh, Pamela says, don't you just love when your plan comes together? I sure do. And how this is tucking right underneath this edge is better than it was in my head. So it's going to look more finished than I thought it was going to, which is great. And I wasn't originally planning on doing a pocket, but I think that's going to be super fun in there too. All right, there. We're pretty well attached there. So here, see, there's a cute pocket on the inside. Ugh, love it. Okay. So now we just need to sew around the edge, and what we're going to have to do is kind of move it out of the way. And oh, now I'm just realizing we're not going to be able to go all the way around because we have handles in the way. So in my head, I was like, oh, we'll just go all the way around, but we're not actually going to be able to do that because there's handles. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start on kind of this fold here, and I'm going to back tack it, go back and forth there, get these out of the way. We're going to sew around the one edge. Yeah, these are always going to be in the way. And then we'll sew to here and back tack. And then I'm going to have to take it off the machine, move these handles out of the way, and then do the other side. So in my head, we were going to go all the way around, but we're not going to be able to do that because these backpack style handles. So we'll do one side at a time, and I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to start right on this seam here. Oh, have fun, Christy. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. All right, let's do it. Last little bits. So make sure that you do get those handles out of the way. Now we gotta get under the handles too. All right, made it. All right, I'm gonna start right here. And again, make sure you're never stitching over the handles here because then you won't be able to close the bag. But I'm just going to go back and forth over where those seams meet. Okay, and then I'm going to slowly just go around this edge. And again, I'm going to try and have that fold match up with this seam line. I'm going to actually get my stiletto out here to help me. And I'm just sewing like that 1/16 of an inch in. So barely enough, just enough to catch the fabric. Take the pins out as you go. Sometimes if your top bag isn't the exact same size as the bottom bag, just kind of pull, when you get to the next pin, pull a little bit so they both seem flat so they don't so it doesn't bunch up on you like this. We'll just kind of pull on it a little. That can sometimes even out things if they're not perfectly the same size. All right, so the next needle, you're gonna have to keep moving your bag around. All right, next pin. Let's rotate a little bit more. Try not to stab myself too. Oh, I am over the moon excited. I'm so happy I chose this fabric. I just happened to see it sitting in my bin of fat quarters that I have sitting here, and I think this was the best way for me to use this fabric because I kept it in large chunks so I can still see all the pattern, and that's what I really loved about this fabric is the just such a cute pattern. I didn't want to chop it up into a bunch of little bits for a quilt or something, so being able to see it as the lining of this bag makes me happy. All right, we're to that other side now, so I'm just kind of making sure that, again, my handles are out of the way so I don't accidentally stitch through them. And now I'm going to go back and forth here for a couple stitches, back and forth. That'll make it a little stronger too. All right, now we have to take it off the machine because those handles are going to be in our way. So I couldn't go all the way around. I'll trim all these threads later, but now I gotta shush these handles to the back, so they're out of my sewing realm again. And now we're gonna continue. So I'm gonna sew over that little bit by the seam, just like how I did before, just over the top of my stitches here. All right, I'll go backwards over them again. Okay, and same thing. Now we're on the front though. Gotta keep rotating. Again, I'm just doing that 1/16 of an inch or so. Oh, thanks, Sylvia. Yeah, this on the inside, it's really tucked under. And look, here's the stitching that I did. So, you know, if I color matched it, it would be a little bit better, but it's not obtrusive, right? Here, I mean, this is that seam we just stitched on the back. Not bad at all. Oh, I feel so much more comfortable having a lining though, just being able to toss stuff into here. I mean, you could toss shoes into here and stuff. It concerned me a little bit without a lining and using it regularly with that stitching. I didn't want to pull the backs of my stitches back to my embroidery stitches. So I think this is a nice, easy solution. Oh, Amy says I like the lining too. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun way to use fabric that you like, and just a really nice finish. And you could do this with any bag you do too. Just, I mean, a lot of times when you make bags, you sew the lining onto the bag at the same time as you're constructing the bag, really. But, you know, this is a pre-made bag with this extra drawstring thing, so we're improvising a bit. But I think it's working well. Okay, I'm getting these handles out of the way again. We're reaching the end here. Yay, all right, let's go our back tacking stitches here, and I'll trim these threads quick, and then we'll take a look. Oh, so exciting. All right, let's, I'll just stay here for a sec. Let's trim. I actually like trimming the outside first. Ooh, they're hard to see. The color wasn't too far off from the actual color. We actually have kind of some fuzzles from the bag itself there. All right, and then I like pulling on those threads on the inside because you can actually pull the front threads through to the back so they're less visible as little tiny bits of thread. All right, and let's get this side. A couple little threads. We'll see what this looks like all closed up too. Okay, and pull on those, just give it a little tug. All right, you guys, here we go. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so here is the front again. That's our fun stitching, and the inside, our lining with the little pocket. Oh, I love that we did that pocket. Oh, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So it opens all the way, and then the drawstring should still work. Yep, you just pull on the top there. Oh, it's a much more sturdy bag too. You could, if you wanted, you could take the corners and do a couple stitches on the corners. Then the corners will be attached to the outside of the bag too, the lining corners, but I'm not gonna worry about that. But you can pull a thread through and add a couple stitches if you want. But I'm happy with it, just like this. This is gonna be the perfect project bag. This is gonna be it's actually a pretty large project bag too. Fun. A nice deep pocket. Okay, I am over the moon happy with it, you guys. All right, I am gonna flip you around and we will call it an afternoon here. All right, hello again, everyone. So let me show you, just so you can see the actual finished size. So there we are. I mean, you can see how heftier it is too. But it closes up real nice. Oh, I'm really excited to use this, and here we go. Cute little lining, cute little pocket. Love it! Awesome, you guys. So thank you so much again for joining me here, hanging out with me as I finish this up. I do have these bags available just for 3 more days. Well, today and 3 more days. It's my June embroidery of the month. So if you head to penguinandfish.com, you'll see them available there. So just a couple more days, but I'm really happy I was able to finish it this month still. It's always nice when you can finish the project in the month. We worked on it for a week, a couple of weeks ago, and didn't quite finish, so there we are. Cute. All right. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you, and thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll see you Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, our normal time here on YouTube. And have a great afternoon. Goodbye.